Welcome back. It's the 0 to 100 podcast. I'm your host, William Walker Jr. Another bonus episode, and I decided to talk Oscars. Last night, it was the 98th Annual Academy Awards. In it, one battle after another won six Oscars, including Best Picture. Um, Ryan Coogler's Sinners won four Oscars, including Best Original Screenplay for Ryan Coogler and Best Leading Actor for Michael B. Jordan. And so every year, I always do have this goal where I want to watch as many of the Best Picture nominees as I can. And usually, especially ever since they expanded it to 10 films, and this was after The Dark Knight had been snubbed one year, it's become a little harder on air for me to see all the Best Picture nominees. I would say on average, I probably watch about between 3 and 5. This year, I actually got to 7 out of 10, and that's a personal best. The last time the most that I had seen was back in 2020 when I saw 6 out of 9. And so the question is, did they get it right? Did the Academy Awards actually get it right last night? Um, I have to say no. Like and what I mean by that is, in terms of Best Picture, I don't feel like they got it right. Ryan Coogler, I thought, made a masterpiece with Sinners. And I know people are like, oh, he's always saying that because it's a black movie. When I saw Sinners in theater, there's a scene in it, like one scene in particular, where, and spoiler alert for some of these, I'm not going to go into great detail on some of them, but some of these are going to get a little spoiler, but you still should still check them out. But in Sinners, there was this one scene where Miles Canton, this was his very first movie, which you want to also talk about snubs. I can't believe Miles Canton did get more love in acting for award season because this was his first movie. But Miles Kenton's character, Preacher Boy, has this ability. It's this ability that the main villain wants for himself. And so this ability is on display in this amazing scene where Preacher Boy is singing. And it was just like, it's the very essence of what the movie is about. And that scene alone was so spectacular. It was something I'd never seen in a movie before. And I remember like thinking as I was seeing it, I was like, whoa, this is like next level. I've never seen anything like this before. And when Sinners was over, I was like, this is an Oscar level movie to me. Uh like I just sat there, especially because it was so entertaining. And usually the Oscars don't nominate, I mean, let's just be real. They don't nominate box office blockbuster movies. They don't um, nominate the movies that make the most. Like, you never see the Avengers being nominated for Best Picture. You don't see, like, when Lord of the Rings won, that was a rarity. When Gladiator won, that was a rarity in that regard. And so that's one of the other reasons why I was really rooting for Sinners, because it was an actually entertaining film. And so, also, quick disclaimer, let me say this. I don't think One Battle After Another was a bad movie. I actually liked One Battle After Another. I thought it was very entertaining. It was very funny. I know, like, especially in this climate, in this day and age, especially with this administration and how immigration and what it means to be an American is at the forefront, and you have protesters and protests. One Battle After Another is relevant, but there's so many different elements of it that I feel like is overrated. Like, I feel like it's a good movie, it's entertaining, but at the same time, it's also a tad bit overrated. Uh, because some of it, as one person I did see say on social media said, it felt like a fetish film in a way, and I can't completely dispute that, to be honest. Like, it was just something about it that just felt kind of icky. Like, but it was funny. It was like, it had moments that had good acting in it. I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was fantastic in it. I thought Chase Infinity was great in it. I thought Chase Infinity, in my opinion, was more deserving of a supporting actress nomination than Tiana Taylor. It's not that I didn't think Tiana Taylor did a great job. I thought she did, especially she captured her character. There's moments in it where her character, like you, it makes you really hate her character, and but I think that's also the signs of a good actor. Like if they make you feel something emotionally for that character, and so I wasn't disappointed that she lost, to be honest, because when I compared it to like the other actresses that she was up against in that Best Supporting Actress category, I thought Amy Madigan was well deserved for Weapons. I thought she earned that Oscar. I thought it was. I didn't have an issue with her winning. Wumi Masaka, I would have preferred to win because I thought again she did so much heavy lifting in Sinners, and she was so great and integral to the story. I thought that was a more deserving win. And I was optimistic because when she won the BAFTA for it. So in terms of like, do I feel like they got it right? Like they got it right in the original screenplay because and I'm not just saying that because like I'm gonna go break down like what I felt about all these 7 movies that I actually did see. But in terms of like how it broke down, like I thought that Michael B. Jordan definitely deserved his Oscar for Best Actor. And it was a really funny joke that I saw somebody say on social media, but I also feel like it's true, is that Michael B. Jordan's Oscar win is like evidence of Black people having to do twice as much to win or to get or to earn something. But it's true because Michael B. Jordan, what made his performance so great was that he played 2 distinct characters, like very distinct characters. Like it could have been where the story didn't call for twins, it could have been brothers, and it could have been 2 different actors playing Smoke and Stack. But it was twins, and Michael B. Jordan played both of these twins. So you knew when Smoke was on the screen, you knew when Stack was on the screen, like you could tell the difference, and that was because of Michael B. Jordan's phenomenal acting in the movie. And so to me, I was like, if you had this movie and you had a person up, like both of these guys, if they acted that way, you would have had a best leading actor nomination and you had a best supporting actor nomination for that actor. But because it's one person, yeah, definitely he should have been nominated for best actor and he definitely should have won. Um, I don't think Timothy Chalamet had like his comments about the ballet or opera had anything to do with why he didn't win. In fact, there was an article that was out that the voting for it had been well after had been concluded well before he had made those comments about it. So I don't want to hear that because there are people like, oh, he only won because of what Timothy Chalamet said on the press tour. No, so I don't want to hear that. So let's get into. I do want to get into what were the 7 movies that I actually did see. Um, and in fact, so the 7 movies that I actually did see were Sinners, Train Dreams, One Battle After Another, F1, Begonia, Frankenstein, and The Secret Agent. Those are the ones that I actually saw. Um, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, and Marty Supreme. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see, so that's why you have the emojis there that you see. And in fact, let's go down and break down why I ranked it where I did. So you have Sinners at number 1. That was by far to me the best movie of 2025. I have 2026 up there, but that's because that was the year of the awards, but it came out last year. Sinners to me was the best movie of last year. Second movie was Train Dreams, and I had actually had never heard of this movie before. That's one of the other funny things about the Oscars. Whenever whenever the Oscars comes about, there's always these movies nominated that I've never heard of, like I've never seen, and it drives me crazy because I'm like, well, I don't even know what the English Patient is. Like I know what it is because I've watch the Oscars. I always watch the Oscars anyway, even if there's movies that I don't have seen. My wife gets with me all the time because she's like, "Well, why are you watching the Oscars?" And I was like, "Well, one, because I love award shows. Don't ask me why. I think they're entertaining. They're fun to me." Um, so, but there's always these movies like I've never heard of, and so Train Dreams was one of them. But when I watched the movie, it was so beautiful. Like there's no other way to describe it. It was a very beautiful film. It was a poignant film. It was a quiet film. It was like it was so emotionally touching. And that's the thing. Like I wasn't expecting that. And it's not a long movie. I think like in fact it's only about an hour, just over an hour and a half. Which I really appreciated. But it was such a moving film. Like Joel Edgerton, who is the lead actor in it, didn't get nominated, which I thought if people want to be upset about a snub, that was a snub because I thought his performance was great in it. I thought it was like it was just like there are so many like quiet elements. In fact, like the best way to describe it for me, it was like watching a great novel, and the movie was based on a book, but you could tell, and the way that the story was crafted, like where you have Will Patton as the narrator, and the way it was done, it was almost like you were just reading this great book, but that's how the film was done. Um, my third favorite was One Battle After Another. Again, I didn't, in terms of like how it was, the movies that were up there that were ranked. I thought it was entertaining. I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was incredibly funny in this movie to me, especially there's this ongoing battle that he's having with a person when he's trying to give him this secret code. And it just reminds, like, if you've ever had a conversation with somebody or customer service and they're not giving you what you want, or they're not being helpful, it- I could so relate to that. I thought his performance was great. If Michael B. Jordan didn't do what he did, I would have been rooting for Leonardo DiCaprio. Because it's amazing to me how many movies he's been nominated for, but he's only won one. I mean, I know he's pretty thrilled to have the one, but he probably should have more than one. But you know how it goes. Again, Chase Infinity, I thought was great. Paul Thomas Anderson did do a really good job, I would say, in terms of directing the film. The thing is, and the reason why I was kind of bummed as to why Ryan Coogler didn't win Best Director was because, like, the one aforementioned scene that I had mentioned inside the juke joint with Preacher Boy displaying his abilities, and when the vampires attack, and the ending of the movie, just how it was shot, how it looked, is so much there. But there is a fantastic chase sequence at the end of One Battle After Another, which I was like, oh wow, that was really well done, in how that was shot. But that was like the only one where I was sitting there like, man, that was really well done. Um, Fourth was F1. I'll be honest with you, I was shocked that F1 even got nominated for Best Picture. I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, and I never thought, like, for example, when Top Gun Maverick got nominated for Best Picture, I believe it was a couple years ago. That was like, I was like, heck yeah, because that was a great popcorn like movie, and it was like that movie had me like jumping out of my seat ready to cheer. It was so awesome. So I was happy that Top Gun Maverick was getting love in terms of being nominated for Best Picture. I didn't feel the same way about F1. Again, in terms of the list of the movies that I got to see, yes, I liked it. So it definitely would be fourth. But at no point in time when I was watching F1 did I think, hey, this is the best picture of the year. In fact, what I kept comparing it to was Days of Thunder. And Days of Thunder is a fantastic racing movie starring Tom Cruise. This is not Days of Thunder, not to me. And I don't know if it's like, even what played a little bit of role into it is that I've become an F1 fan thanks to Netflix's Drive to Survive, which got me into to watching Formula One racing. And like most movies, it's like, yes, when you make a movie, like if you're trying to base something on it, you gotta jazz things up, or you gotta make things different or unrealistic. But in terms of a like strategy that Brad Pitt's character is using it for racing in this F1 movie, I'm like, dude, that's a terrible strategy. You would have been suspended. You'd have been starting from the pit lane every every race. Like, there is no way you would be. That strategy is terrible. Like, there's no way it will work. Uh, so at five is Begonia. Dude, this is a very weird movie. That's why like I had an emoji up there that's stunned because it's very weird. But the last half hour of it is so wild. It goes, I mean, it escalates. Like it starts kind of slow, but and you're sitting there kind of like, what is this movie about? Like you're very confused. And then you get to this one point where you think you know what the movie is. Like, oh, I know what this is. Oh, I know what this character's motivations are. And then when you get to like the last half hour of it, your mind is like, what is happening? What is going on? Like it's so ill. Six is Frankenstein. Yeah. First off, Frankenstein, I believe, like, there's something in common with these last two movies. Frankenstein, in particular, is very long. I'm pretty certain it was the longest movie that was nominated for Best Picture this year. And I don't have an issue with long movies. Just don't let me feel that it's a long movie. If I'm constantly checking the time, because I'm waiting for something to happen. Or I'm like it starts off strong. I'll give Frankenstein credit that it has a really strong start. It starts off strong, and but after the strong start, and I'm literally like, what? It took me forever to watch it because it literally put me to sleep multiple multiple times. So I just didn't care for it. It was I understood why it won 3 Oscars, by the way. And in fact, I was sitting there like, how is this movie winning anything? But it was for like production and makeup and costume. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. Because that was well done. So I'll give them the credit for that. Um, Coming in last was The Secret Agent. And I put the yawning emoji because I was just kind of bored with it. And it actually, again, this was another one where I felt like it actually started off strong, because like with the opening scene, it was very kind of fitting. In fact, even one way is directed like there's like a full, like kind of full circle moment with one scene that bookends the other. But it overall, I was just kind of bored with it. Uh, it's a, it was a foreign language film. It was Portuguese. That I don't have an issue with because one of my favorite movies of all time that was nominated for Best Picture. And if it didn't come out the same year as Gladiator, I would have preferred that to win. But it was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which was also subtitled, but which is a amazing movie, and I absolutely loved it. Have zero issues with the subtitle. Apocalypto was another subtitle movie I had zero issues with. I thought was a fantastic movie. So subtitles had nothing to do with it. This movie was very long. It was incredibly boring, and I was bored. Like it was billed as a political thriller, but at no point did I particularly feel it was very thrilling. Not until the end of the movie. Like again, it took to the very end of the movie to actually get thrilling. And then even when that happened, it I was upset with the outcome, and the way the movie ended was very it was a huge letdown. And so by the time it was over, I sat there and was like, what? Like what? Like what? Why did I just waste my time? Like I was like, what? I just watch this. It was that was yeah, it was very frustrating. And so then the last three I didn't get to actually see. I didn't see Hamnet. I didn't see Sentimental Value. I did not see Marty Supreme. That's why you got the hands up emojis because I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't actually get to see it. So I was one of my friends that I did want to have on because I wanted to get other people on to give me their thoughts on on the 10 nominees. And I figured, you know what? If I didn't get to see it, then somebody else could give their 2 cents. One of my friends that I did want to have on, but she couldn't make it. She did see Hamnet. She saw Sinners. She saw One Battle After Another. And so she thought Sinners was way better than One Battle After Another. She saw Hamnet and she thought Hamnet was great. She absolutely uh, loved Hamnet. She thought it was a great movie. Um, I did not see Hamnet. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know of it. I know what it's about, the premise of it, but unfortunately, I didn't get to see it. I do intend to see it. Once I actually see it, I'll come back and let you guys know what I actually thought of it. Um, another foreign language movie that made the list or that was nominated for best picture was Sentimental Value. Oh, in fact, I only had an image up. But anyway, with Value, I didn't get to see that either. Marty Supreme, I did want to see because I actually like Timothy Chalamet. So I'll try to get to see that. I'm going to try to see all of these, but that was my rankings on the actual 7 movies that I did see. And so, what did where can you actually watch these? Because I want you to be able to judge for yourself. So judge for yourself here, and this is where you can actually watch these films. Sinners is on HBO Max. Train Dreams you can see on Netflix. One Battle After Another is also on HBO Max. F1 if you have Apple TV, which I'll say this: Apple TV to me does a very poor job in marketing their stuff because their stuff is so good. Like they have so many really good TV shows on Apple TV and really good movies on Apple TV. Not just like this picture that got nominated for Best Picture, but yeah, it has good stuff on there. So anyway, F1 is on Apple TV. Begonia is on Peacock. That's NBC's streaming service. So if you have Peacock, you can see Begonia. Frankenstein is on Netflix. The Secret Agent is on Hulu. And Hamnet, Sentimental Value, and Marty Supreme aren't streaming anywhere yet. So you'd have to actually rent them to see it, which guess what? That is what made it easier for me to see these other 7. It's not that I didn't want to see them. It just made it super easy for me to see these other movies. Well, Sinners I saw in theaters, One Battle After Another I saw in theaters, and F1 I saw in theaters anyway. So, but to have the ability to stream it, like I do want to say, like Train Dreams shocked the crap out of me. I was not expecting that. So I remember when I looked up what where the movies were, where to watch them. I just said, "Oh, it's on Netflix. Let me go ahead and watch it because it's here." And when I watched it, I was so happy that I did because it was really, really well done. Like I said, for me, it was my second favorite movie of the year, especially based out of that. Like, what was a movie that I honestly like? I saw a number of movies last year. Like one of my favorite movies that I saw last year that was not nominated for anything. But I would have been more than happy if it was actually Fantastic Four First Steps. It was easily my second favorite movie of 2025. I knew it wasn't going to be nominated for anything because one, it's a Marvel movie. There's only been one Marvel movie that's been nominated for any Oscar, or actually 2 Marvel movies that have been nominated for any Oscars. One that was nominated for Best Picture, which was Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler, which was spectacular. And some people actually think it had a great chance to. It should have won. It did win the SAG for best cast, which gave Ryan Coogler the distinction of being the only director to have 2 films that won the Screen Actors Guild Award for best cast, which was Black Panther and Sinners. Excuse me. And I remember the year that Black Panther lost, Green Book won. And it also brings me to like the final point of why the Oscars are so frustrated, and it kind of takes me back to the question of did they get it right? And my answer is no, because Sinners for me is it's one of those films. Like one of the funny things that I thought was crazy was when Paul Thomas Anderson had won, was giving his acceptance speech for Best Picture for One Battle After Another. One of the things that people had pointed out was how he was highlighting different films throughout the years that everyone seems to love or audiences love, and they go down in history as great films, even though they didn't win Best Picture. Where you had like uh, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Jaws, and I don't have a list in front of me of all the other movies that he had, but um, these are movies that people remember that didn't win Best Picture. And so to me, that's where Sinners is going to be at. Like it is that type of film that people are going to talk about for generations, and they'll compare it to other Oscar nominated films that didn't win Best Picture when they should have. Like one of the ones that I always think of was Saving Private Ryan. and how it lost to Shakespeare in Love, which I thought was crazy because Saving Private Ryan is an amazing movie. I remember being blown away and loving every single second of it when I watched it. And like when it lost to Shakespeare in Love, everybody was like, what? Or to Goodfellas losing to Dances with Wolves. And I've seen Goodfellas. Like, in fact, it was one of those movies that I'd never seen until I was much older. And when I actually saw it, I was like, no, this movie is fantastic. This is a great movie. And the fact that it lost to Dances with Wolves, which I did see, and I because I like westerns anyway, but yeah, Goodfellas is way better. It's when you had the King's Speech defeated The Social Network and Inception. People that know me know how much I love Inception, and Inception losing to freaking it's funny because I actually thought Inception was going to lose. Excuse me, sorry. I thought Inception was going to lose to The Social Network, which I did see, and I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think if Inception lost, I didn't think it was going to be to the King's Speech. I just didn't think that. So you had that. I'm trying to think. There was another one that I saw. Like some people, like it's funny to me because some people say that Pulp Fiction or um, Shawshank Redemption should have beat Forrest Gump the year that Forrest Gump won Best Picture. I saw all of those. I do like Pulp Fiction. I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it should have beat Forrest Gump. I'm sorry. I freaking love Forrest Gump. I saw Shawshank Redemption. Thought Shawshank Redemption is a great movie, actually. I can sort of argue that one. I can give you that one. I can give you that Shawshank should have beat Forrest Gump because it was really that good. It's a great movie. I still love Forrest Gump though, so I don't really put that in the same category. But I feel like when time goes by, people will not speak of one battle after another the way that they will speak of Sinners. I just don't. I just don't think that's the case. I think Sinners is a transcendent film, and it doesn't. The thing that's so beautiful about it is that, like, much like these other movies that I mentioned that didn't win an Academy Award, but people um, still remember it and talk of it. It's not like it's like Sinners is already won in that regard. Like they might not have a 98th Academy Award for Best Picture, but people are going to remember it and people are going to talk about it, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And it's such a black film. It's such a but it's so us, and that's what made it so dope, and that's what made it so great. So that was my goal of trying to see all the nominated films. I'm still going to try to watch those other three. Here's the list again, if where you can actually watch them. Sinners on HBO Max. Well, anyway, you can see it. There's a list again of the 10 films that were nominated. Uh, this year, I think if I see more movies, then maybe I won't have as much work to do because I got in a lot of these movies within the last week, which was like Trade Dreams and Secret Agent and Begonia and Frankenstein. Like I got those all in within the last week and stuff. So if I watch more movies this year, then maybe it won't be as difficult because maybe I'll actually see the actual Best Picture nominees. So we'll see. But I will be back. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little episode. This is also going to be available wherever you listen to the audio form podcast. Like I'm still putting out the audio form, but I've been enjoying putting these on YouTube as well. I can tell you right now, I have one more bonus like episode. In fact, it's going to be like a little short, more so. I would probably say because I'm going to have my boy Teddy on because there's like this prevailing theory about why the Cowboys are so cheap in free agency, and it's not just this year. Like it's kind of been uh, throughout the years that they've been incredibly cheap. I would say since the Dave Campo years, because Dave Campo years they they used to actually spend money in free agency. They haven't really done that in decades, and so there's a reason why. And Teddy had a really good theory that I was like, you know what, that makes sense because the Cowboys are the most profitable sports franchise, but yet they spend the least amount of money on their team, and especially in free agency. Like Bob Sturm has been, who's a radio show host for the Ticket in Dallas, has been all over this, and he had made a great point, or pointed out how the Cowboys on average spend about between 50, like they never really go above 60 million uh in terms of spending in free agency on outside free agents, not counting like the people they actually keep on team. It's they do, because they pay their players that they've actually draft. Like you look at Dak Prescott, CD Lamb, like they pay them. Micah getting away was a rarity, but that's because Jerry Jones let his money get mad. um but they on average spend about around 50 million per year on outside free agents, and I just don't understand why that is. And Teddy has a really good theory, so I wanted to have him on, and I'm gonna put a little video out about that. um I probably will have, I'm gonna say, like when April hits and like before the draft, that's when season 8 of the 0 to 100 podcast will be back. And those episodes I'm going to also put in audio form, but they're also going to be here on YouTube. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Of course, you can let me know. All you have to do is email the show, which is 0 to 100pod at gmail.com. So, of course, you can join the conversation if you just email 0 to 100pod at gmail.com. That's the number 0TO100pod at gmail.com. There it is there. You can find me on all social media platforms, including finding the 0 to 100 podcast on YouTube if you search 0 to 100 podcast, or if you just search at WCW Poet. You can find me pretty much on any social media platform if you search at WCW Poet. Blue Sky. I'm starting to interact a little bit more again on Cowboys Twitter, just because it's the best place to get up to date Cowboys news and information, and interact with a lot of Cowboys fans. I'm also on Letterbox, so you could actually see me reviewing some of the movies I talked about if you search at WCW Poet. Make sure you subscribe to the 0 to 100 podcast channel on YouTube, and subscribe and share. So that's going to do it for this episode, this bonus episode. Did they get it right? They did not, but it's all good. We out.